Believe it or not, flying and fire-breathing dragons are possible in real life. You've probably been told that dragons are mythical creatures. After all, a flying, fire-breathing reptile could never exist in real life, right? Indeed, fire-breathing dragons have never been discovered, but flying lizard-like creatures exist in fossil form. Some of them may still be found in nature today. Take a look at the science of winged flight and the possible mechanisms by which a dragon can even breathe fire. How big can a flying dragon be? Scientists generally agree that modern birds evolved from flying dinosaurs, so there is no debate about whether dragons could fly. The question is whether they could be large enough to hunt humans and livestock. The answer is yes, they once did. The late Cretaceous pterosaur Quetzalcoatlus northropi was one of the largest known flying animals. Estimates of its size vary, but even at the most conservative estimate, it had a wingspan of 11 meters, 36 feet, and a weight of 200 to 250 kilograms, 440 to 550 pounds. In other words, it weighed about the same as a modern tiger, which can easily kill a human or a goat. There are several theories about why modern birds are not as large as prehistoric dinosaurs. Some scientists believe that size is determined by the energy required to maintain feathers. Others point to changes in the Earth's climate and atmospheric composition. Meet a modern flying dragon in real life. While dragons of the past may have been large enough to carry off a sheep or a human, modern dragons feed on insects and sometimes birds and small mammals. These are iguanas, which belong to the Agamidae family. This family includes the domesticated bearded dragons and Chinese water dragons, as well as the wild genus Draco spp. Are flying dragons. Indeed, Draco is a master of gliding. The lizards can fly up to 60 meters, 200 feet, by flattening their limbs and spreading their wings. They use their tail and neck shield, gular flag, to stabilize and control their descent. These living flying dragons can be found in South Asia, where they are relatively common. The largest species only grows up to 20 centimeters, 7.9 inches, in length, so there is no need to worry about being eaten. Dragons can fly without wings. While European dragons are massive, winged beasts, Asian dragons are more like snakes with legs. Most of us think of snakes as land creatures, but there are snakes that fly, meaning they can glide through the air for long distances. How long? Essentially, these snakes can stay in the air for the length of a football field or twice the length of an Olympic swimming pool. Asian snakes Chrysopelea spp. Fly up to 100 meters, 330 feet, by flattening their bodies and curling up to optimize their lift. Scientists have determined that the optimal angle for a kite-like flight is 25 degrees, with the snake's head pointing upwards and its tail pointing downwards. Although wingless dragons technically could not fly, they could glide over long distances. If an animal could somehow store gases that are lighter than air, it could potentially master flight. How could dragons breathe fire? To date, no fire-breathing animals have been discovered. However, it is possible that an animal could emit flames. The bombardier beetle, family Carabidae, stores hydroquinone and hydrogen peroxide in its abdomen, which it releases when threatened. The chemicals mix in the air and undergo an exothermic, heat-releasing, chemical reaction, essentially spraying the attacker with an irritating, boiling hot liquid. If you think about it, living organisms constantly produce flammable, reactive compounds and catalysts. Even humans inhale more oxygen than they use. Hydrogen peroxide is a common byproduct of metabolism. Acids are used for digestion. Methane is a flammable byproduct of digestion. Catalases increase the efficiency of chemical reactions. A dragon can store the necessary chemicals until it is time to use them, force them out, and ignite them chemically or mechanically. Mechanical ignition can be as simple as creating a spark by crushing piezoelectric crystals. Piezoelectric materials, like flammable chemicals, already exist in animal bodies. Examples include tooth enamel and dentin, dry bones, and tendons. Thus, breathing fire is certainly possible. It has not been observed, but this does not mean that no animal species has developed this ability. However, it is possible that an organism that shoots fire could do so through its anus or a specialized structure in its mouth. But this is not a dragon. The heavily armored dragon depicted in movies is, almost certainly, a myth. Heavy scales, spikes, horns, and other bony protrusions make the dragon heavier. However, if your ideal dragon has tiny wings, you can take comfort in the fact that science does not yet know all the answers. After all, scientists only discovered how bumblebees fly in 2001. Subscribe so as not to miss such videos, and please like, you will help me a lot. Thank you in advance.